And just like that, we're already at our Happy Friday, everybody. Right. So, let's see, what was my low yesterday? Well, actually, my low yesterday was, because I really should be doing my ARC thoughts soon, and I wanted to do that last night, just time got away from me, and so I had to not do it last night, but that's okay. As long as it's still the month of July, you're going to get an ARC thoughts. In fact, I'm going to be doing one after this video. So yeah, my high is knowing that it is going to get done because, again, I'm doing it after this video. And my act of kindness, let's see. What's my act of kindness? Oh dear, I always tend to, I don't want to say I struggle with this part. Just that, Well, on my way from leaving home, I had a nice conversation with a woman who lives in this apartment building. That's not really an act of kindness, though. Act of kindness, act of kindness. This is quite difficult. Jeepers, man, I really don't know. So if it seems like I'm really lethargic today, it's because I did not get very good sleep. Believe it or not, I actually had a couple of nightmares. Well, not nightmares per se, but they were bad dreams. Well, it was hard to say they were straight up nightmares, because nightmares would imply that I'd probably be even more pale than I am. What was my act of kindness yesterday? The sad part is I really did have one too. Sorry. I gotta write this stuff down, apparently. Man, do I really have an active... See, that's one reason why I was always worried about doing the low-high active kindness, because I was always worried that one of those things I was never going to really be able to consistently have. And it looks like the act of kindness is one of them, which makes things even worse for me because it comes across as I'm not a kind person. What did I do? Man. Gosh, I really don't know other than, well, I guess, technically this is an act of kindness, but I do it so often that I do kind of take it for granted. I held the door for, a lot of people throughout, the course of the day yesterday, which, yeah, technically it's an act of kindness, but it's something that I do so incredibly often that, I take it for granted. In fact, the only reason why I do it is because my mother traumatized me growing up saying to hold the door for absolutely everyone. Which, yeah, message received, I guess. Now, good morning and happy Friday. Holy cow, that was such a struggle. Oh, boy. Oh, man. I really am glad it's Friday. Because, honestly, I really was kind of looking forward to how relaxing this weekend's going to be. It's actually not going to be as hot as the previous 2 weekends, where it's actually going to be kind of... It's going to be... it's still going to be hot, but it's going to be less so, I guess. that being said, I have readers today. That's going to be nice. And actually, that does remind me. A week ago, I said that my low. Well, a week ago today, my family and I were supposed to go to the Corning Country Club, but they had some sort of like shoot off thing or whatever. I think it was most likely golf related, so we couldn't go, and that ended up being my low for last Saturday. But here's the thing: my parents like to go before the end of the month. Today is the very end of the month. It's about as close to the end of the month as you could hope to get. So they could go today. We could actually go today. I'm going to see if I can run that by him. I have doubts, but it doesn't hurt to ask. But I just realized that considering that the top 100 is over, it feels kind of weird I'm not talking about that today. Let's be honest. I said enough about that over the last several days. I don't really think I need to say much else. Other than I'm looking forward to the season. But at this point, everyone is. If we even get a season. Yeah, a lot of people are still up in arms about what's going to happen going forward. I live in upstate New York. If you've heard the news, you probably know they're not really going to have a school. And with that said, they're probably not going to have fall athletics either. Which is a real shame too, because I was really looking forward to being able to go to Horseheads and watch them play football. I say this because, believe it or not, because I pass by Horseheads High School every day. It is my alma mater. Not that I pass by because it's my alma mater. It just happens to be my alma mater. They're building a new football field. I'm convinced that's a new football field they're making. Here's the thing. Where they put their football field is actually in a really big open land area where we call that area the soccer fields because it's a lot of soccer fields you can have. And they're putting a chunk of that land into making the new football field. And they're not working on the actual field itself, but come on, you don't make bleachers of that size for soccer or lacrosse. Yeah, the soccer fields are also for where Horseheads has the lacrosse games. You don't make a stadium that size for the sake of soccer or lacrosse. You can, but come on, those are football bleachers if I've ever seen them. But only time's going to tell. Although, here's the thing, Horseheads already has a football field. In fact, it's probably the only grass football field, not just in New York State, but probably the entire country. Though Trinity Pauling did use a grass field, but then they switched to their turf field. I showed you guys when I was at Trinity Pauling last year. They still have their grass football field. They just never use it for football games. Seriously, I bet the scoreboard and everything still works. I wonder what they are going to do though. It should be interesting to see. Maybe they can do rugby there. I don't know. But or I think I've beat around the bush long enough. How about we get into one of the things I really want to talk about today, and that was yesterday's episode of Hot Ones, which featured T-Pain, who I mentioned before was, a previous guest on Hot Ones way back in season, I want to say it was season 2, season 3. It was pretty long ago. And you were going to get a good episode when the cold opening is T-Pain is actually, no pun intended, in pain. And Sean asks him, is it worse than last time? And he's like, oh, yeah. And then, so, duly noted, T-Pain was in serious pain. Okay, that was meant to be a pun. All right, so they actually talked about several things. They talked about a couple of things that really got to my eye. Was, well, one of them, T-Pain is actually a pretty avid gamer. He mentioned how Animal Crossing is like the greatest stay-home game ever because, I mean, I never played Animal Crossing, but I know what it is. I mean, I grew up with Nintendo and Sony PlayStation. As much as I love Sony PlayStation, I mean, come on, man, who's going to be Crash Bandicoot? Let's be honest, Nintendo reigns supreme. And Animal Crossing is, while I don't play it, I definitely have appreciation for what it is. Basically, it's a game that you can play at your own pace, you know, and you pick up like immediately right where you left off. It's unbelievable. Well, you know, well, I was hoping they would talk about him being on one of my all-time favorite shows at this moment in time, The Masked Singer, and they did. And Sean Evans asked him how being on The Masked Singer was a big sort of four-letter word "you" to all the haters out there, which, you know, I get. Because, and T-Pain said this himself when he first won The Masked Singer, first getting into the business, you know, he had a great voice, but he needed to do something to stand out. You know, something that people didn't necessarily hear and, you know, they wanted to see him do. And that's why, you know, he stuck with Autotune. But The Masked Singer proved that you don't really need Autotune. But, you know, for years and years and years, people thought T-Pain was the Autotune guy. Which, I told you guys that in yesterday's video, I said that when my brother's girlfriend, now wife, made him that mixtape, Flight School was on there, I had no idea that was what Autotune was. Again, I really was not, I have mentioned I'm a moron, right? See, when I was younger, things just like right over my head, you know what I mean? So that was nice. One thing I'm actually quite surprised that that they talked about was, believe it or not, Freaknik the Musical. Like, I remember watching Freaknik the Musical. Like, I remember it being like one of the coolest things I ever seen. I mean, it really hasn't aged that well, to be perfectly honest. In fact, I guarantee there's probably some people out there who would probably bash on Freaknik the Musical if given the opportunity. Oh, right. Freaknik the Musical was an animated cartoon special sort of thing that celebrated the hustle and bustle of the party scene in Atlanta. And again, back then I thought it was great. But I guarantee if I were to watch it now, it probably hasn't aged well. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, to be honest, I hope I'm wrong about that because I remember really liking it a lot. Because it didn't feature just T-Pain. There was like CeeLo Green, Young Jeezy, Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, like Charlie Murray, everyone was there. So, yeah, even Andy Samberg was there too. So this is actually kind of really cool. And its animation, while the appeal really wasn't that great looking per se, you know, overall it was a decent product. I mean, I certainly remember liking it a lot. In fact, to this day, I actually still have the soundtrack on my iPod. Well, most of the soundtrack. Seriously, like, I must have downloaded the song We Da Mob like 3 times. And I always end up losing it. Like, why? I really like that song too. That was my favorite song from the special. Yeah, We Da Mob, Freaknik is Back, Save You, Ghetto Commandments, the list goes on. Music was pretty on point. If I remember anything from that special is that they kind of underutilized CeeLo Green. Because he's one of the main cast, and he has speaking lines, of course, but they don't have him sing, or anything like that. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of weird that because it was very obvious in terms of range and pitch. CeeLo was probably the best artist on there in terms of like actual singing, but well, arguably he was, and they never used him. It was weird, but yeah, all in all, it was a great episode of Hot Ones. T-Pain was struggling, but then again, who doesn't? And yeah. The only thing left to do now is just get ready for the weekend, which is going to kick off the instant I get myself some readers. Like, favorite, share, the subscribe button, follow me on the social media platforms, turn on those notifications on YouTube. I'm very humbled to make this video for all of you guys who want to enjoy it for today. I'm hopefully have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, watching me, I'll be back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.